Moving is always hard, but we were confident we made the right choice in a farm that was better suited to our future. With limestone-rich soil, rolling terrain, and scenic vistas, it appeared every bit as good a place to raise a horse as our original location. But would it be? One crop of foals, and we knew the answer. As good? Even better.
This isn't the usual. It's not the same old, same old. It's an adventure. A chance to rediscover excitement. To remember what your heart beats louder for. This isn't the usual. It's so much more. Your experience starts at OntarioRacing.com.
I'm Heather Vitale for Harness Racing Update. The business of racing horses can sometimes seem like a roller coaster ride. From a horse of the year to the passing of a star horse, our next guest has seen the highest of highs and the lowest of lows. But with an eye for star talent and a positive attitude, the unstoppable Dustin Jones is always strapping in for an incredible ride each season. Dustin, you have been through so much in this racing life. You know, it's like it's been the best of times, it's been the worst of times. What keeps you going? I need some motivational tips.
I just think it's the love of the horses and the next big win. And, you know, that's you're looking for another star. That just keeps me going.
We're going to talk about the best of times. First of all, you had the 1994 Canadian Horse of the Year, and it was a girl, a 2-year-old. What was her name? Tell me about her.
Her name was Emily Cassell. She was the first foal of Amour Angus, who also gave Conway Hall, Angus Hall, and Hanover Hall. I was lucky enough to buy the first one for $13,000, so I got in when it was early, before she was proven. And she was great. She was won 13 starts out of 13, or she won 13 races out of 13 starts, and set a track record at Mohawk and at Blue Bonnets. And she was just unreal.
You know, you have a lot of horses because you are, you know, from Quebec, is that right?
Originally, yeah, from Sherbrooke, Quebec.
Okay, and so you race a lot of Ontario breds. However, the one horse that I identify you with is 2012, a 2-year-old colt, and that's Wheelin' and Dealin'. Tell me about him a little bit. He was really special.
Yeah, he was really special as a 2-year-old. He just was, I think he made one break training down. And other than that, he was flawless. He was like, I don't know, you just turned him around and go, and he just did it all. And Sylvain Filion drove him, and he drove him to perfection.
Now, we are going to get on to the 2-year-olds now, and like we said, you have a lot of Ontario breds. We're going to start, though, not with the trotters, we're starting with the pacers. One for Julius, and this is a He's Watching colt. He's Watching, first crop, exciting.
Yeah, he hasn't done anything wrong since we broke him. I really like him. He's good gaited. He's laid back, but then when he gets startled, he can like take off on you. So we're just playing it by ear and hoping that he keeps going good. And actually, I've got 2 mares in my own book to He's Watching. That's how much I like the colt. So.
Oh, very nice. That's good to know. So we also have Travel Girl, a Sportswriter.
Yeah, she's a homebred of my own. It's the first foal of a Badlands Hanover mare that didn't race, but she's out of a really good pedigree, so I decided to keep the mare and breed her, and that's her first foal. So I'm hoping that she's a racehorse at least.
Yeah, you hear a lot about the Badlands Hanover mares. People love them as brood mares, don't they?
Well, that's the first one I have, so I'm hoping that it'll be true.
Now we're going to move on to the trotters, and the first one is Down to the Honky Tonk, and the sire is one that you know very well, right?
Yeah, it's Prestidigitator. He was Kadabra colt that I bought at Harrisburg, and he ended up being the best horse, 2-year-old in Ontario, won the super final, and came back the next year and repeated and won the super final at 3. And he raced in the Breeders' Crown. He would get in the final and finish 4th, I think, both years in the final of the Breeders' Crown. But he was a really good horse. He came to play every day. And at one time he had the track record at Mohawk. I think he'd won in 52 and a piece at Mohawk, which was a track record at the time. And he made around 900,000. And the colt I got Down to the Honky Tonk is the first foal in the first crop of Prestidigitator.
What about You're Still Up? That's royalty for life, right?
Yeah, he's a full brother to While You're Up, who raced last year, and I sold later to Coyote Wind Farm. And he's a half brother to Don't Rush, who I raised myself, and he made around 700,000. He was the best 2-year-old in Ontario when he was 2, and the best 3-year-old. He came back. He won back-to-back super finals.
All right. What about Monitize Hanover? That's a Kadabra, correct?
Yeah, Monitizer Hanover's, he's a Kadabra out of a Cantab Hall mare. Actually, he carries himself like a Cantab on the track, and he's a half-brother to a good filly that John Bax had, Stubborn Belle, who was 2-year-old filly of the year in Canada. And I bought him at Harrisburg for 45,000, which I was really happy with the price because I didn't think I'd even have a chance to buy him. I thought he'd go for around 100,000. So sometimes you have to be lucky. So right now I'm lucky. I'll tell you later this fall how lucky I was.
Can't wait to hear.
Yeah.
Now, although you have mostly Ontario breds, we do have a Pennsylvania bred. It's a Father Patrick, and it's Forgive Me Father.
Yeah, I really like the Cantab line. I've had some good Cantabs. Had Spirit to Win, Wheelin' and Dealin', and I really wanted to get a Father Patrick. And it was funny, I had given Jimmy Tactor a ride from the airport in Lexington to the racetrack, and I asked him before the sale, I said, if you had 50 to 100,000 to spend on a colt, what would you buy? And he thought for about a couple minutes, and he said, if I would buy a Father Patrick. So when I started looking at the yearlings, I really concentrated on getting a Father Patrick, and I bought this colt at Lexington sale with 3 other partners.
Now let's talk about a trotting filly, a Kadabra filly named Expelliarmus, and kind of a cool story behind her name, right?
Yeah, like I bought her with 3 other partners at Lexington. And the next morning, my son texted me and he said, "Man, you bought a hell of a filly there." And I go, "Really? Why?" Oh, he said, her name, Expelliarmus. I said, "Wow, what's Expelliarmus?" And he sends me a link on YouTube to a Harry Potter movie or whatever. And it's when they cast a spell, they say Expelliarmus. And anyway, she's going good. We like her.
Yeah. Well, it's supposed to be something about disarming your opponents or beating your opponents. So, I don't know, when she wins, there needs to definitely be people dressed up in Harry Potter garb, right? In the winner's circle? Are we going that way?
Well, we could. It all depends who I can talk into doing it.
All right, and finally, we're going to talk about an Archangel. Peppa Pig, but you are going to change her name, is that right?
Well, we want to change it. I haven't changed the registration on her yet. I've been too lazy, so I got to get that done. And I want to change her name to Emily's Angel. And my daughter's name is Emily, and that's who we named Emily Cassell after. And being an Archangel, I thought we'd call her Emily's Angel.
Oh, okay.
I just couldn't go with the pig part on a horse's name, even though Peppa Pig is a childhood hero, I guess, or a comic book thing. But I just couldn't have a horse with the name Pig.
I was going to ask you if you knew about Peppa Pig. I've watched Peppa Pig before because I have kids. So, all right, at least you know where that name comes. But Emily's Angel is nice. It does have a ring to it.
Yeah, my kids never watched Peppa Pig. They watch Sesame Street. So I didn't know anything about Peppa Pig until after I bought her.
You never know what you're going to learn on Twos in Training. That's why you have to continue to watch these segments. But, Dustin, you've been so great. Thank you so much for being on the segment with me.
Oh, you're welcome. It was my pleasure. I had a lot of fun doing this.
Me too, and continued success. And we will be checking back with you to see how Jimmy Tactor's advice was.
Yeah, I hope he was right, because if not, I'm going to have a talk with him.
Thanks, Dustin.
All right, thanks.
I really loved getting a chance to talk with Dustin today at Palema Trotting in Vero Beach, Florida. I'm Heather Vitale for Harness Racing Update.
Harness Racing Update is the sport's most comprehensive and trusted news source and the fastest growing publication in the game. HRU has you covered with award-winning features and commentary from some of the sport's best writers. Stellar photography, race news, results, entries, handicapping, and video replays, the industry's most comprehensive sales results, and Harness Racing's best reader feedback section. And it's all delivered free of charge to your email box multiple times each week. See why HRU is the most trusted news source of the sport's most important people from all facets of the industry. Subscribe today for free. To subscribe, just go to harnessracingupdate.com and then click subscribe for free.